guys, Daniel here coming at you again with yet another video through God's grace. As I'm sure you could tell by the thumbnail or by the title, we're here to talk about how much one of my ATMs made in 1 week. Now this is kind of a weird week, so I'll explain why it's weird and how I'm kind of structuring this. But first, guys, my goal by the end of July is to get 10 whole subscribers. I think that's pretty realistic, so please be the first one. Hit me with a like, hit me with the bell notification. I do post a lot, and I think I post pretty great content. Subscribe if you think so also. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 10 subscribers by the end of July, but it has to start with the first one. So be that first one. Anyway, let's hop into it. So first of all, it is a kind of a weird week that we'll be diving into. This ATM location is in the military base that I had mentioned a few videos ago. And I wanted to do this one specifically because it's performing outstandingly, extremely, super awesomely well. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys how well it could be going for you with just starting out. But I'm gonna do it on the first 7 days that it's been active at this location, not necessarily like the first week. And the reason being is because I put it in there on June 28th. June 28th was the first day that it was actually like up and operational in this location. And like I said, it's in a military base. So June 28th was on a Wednesday. The 4th of July is the following Monday. So because it's in the military base, all the military guys all had vacation from June 29th all the way up until July 5th. So they had like 5 or 6 days off. So we had 0 transactions. It was totally closed for that entire time being. So it's kind of a weird week that we'll be doing, but we're gonna be doing June 28th, June 29th, and then June 5th to, and then July 5th to July 11th, which is today, because they're also closed on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So I just counted the first 7 days that it was operational, not necessarily the first week that it was in this location. So just keep that in mind, and we'll kind of go through that here in the numbers. Okay, so starting here down on June 28th. So all these numbers, so this is how many transactions were attempted. This is how many transactions were approved. This other right here is a balance inquiry. So I don't actually charge for balance inquiry. So if somebody just wants to see what their balance is, it's free. So that's that one right there. This other one over here was denied. I don't really remember the reason. I think they had the wrong pin or something like that. So that'll count as a denied one. And then, so that comes at a grand total of 12 total transactions, but 10 that were approved and I got the surcharge for. So on the very first day that it was operational, we got 10 transactions. And I actually took this ATM from a previous location. It was at a nail salon that was performing just terribly. It got 1 transaction in like 10 days. So this one outperformed it within the first few hours. So it's doing awesome. So it dispensed $220, and then I got $30 on the first day. So it ended up being $30 that I made at the end of the first day in surcharge. Moving on to the next day, June 29th. So we got 17 transactions. We got 17 transactions that were approved. Everything was great. $400 total was dispensed, and we made $52 in surcharge fees. Now, that's pretty good because I've noticed at this location that they take out mostly 20s. So as you see here, if there's 17 transactions being taken out and only $400 was dispensed, that's really good. You want the highest number of surcharges that were approved and the lowest number of money that was dispensed. Because for example, you know, $20 goes into 100 5 times. So somebody could either take out $100 and you still make the same amount of money, you still make $3, let's say, whether somebody took out $20 or $100. But if 5 people took out $20, well, now you just made $15 on that same $100 that was dispensed. So you always want people to take out the lowest amount, which in my case is 20s. Most people's case is going to be 20s. And at this location, that's what's going on. So the money lasts me longer. The money that I put in there lasts me longer, so I have to go there least. And I make a lot of surcharges because they're taking out $20 at a time, maybe $40 at a time, but mostly it's 20s. Okay, so moving on here. Now, it wasn't actually operational on the 30th. That was a Thursday. So they were closed for the 4th of July from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So they were closed for 5 days. But remember, so whatever processor you choose, they have a cutoff. Now, the processor that I use, their cutoff is it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in California, so I'm 3 hours behind. So that's noon, that's 12 p.m. my time. So any transaction that is made before 12 p.m. my time, so noon, will count as happening that day. But any time at 12:01 or after will actually count as the next day. So these 8 transactions that you see right here were actually made the day before, but the processor recognized it as happening the day after because it was made after 12:01 my time. So these transactions didn't actually happen on the 30th, but my processor recognizes them as happening on the 30th. So just kind of keep that in mind. But there was 8 transactions that were approved. One of them was denied, and so that was $240 dispensed and $24 made in surcharge right there. Okay, so now we're fast forwarding a few days because that location was closed due to the 4th of July, military was off, blah, 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 blah. So fast forwarding a few days. Now going back to the next day that it was actually up and operational, on the 5th, we made 16 transactions, which is just awesome. None of them were denied or anything like that. $420 was dispensed. Again, that's a great ratio. We had a lot of transactions that were approved and not that much money that was dispensed. So we made $50 for surcharge that day. The next day on the 6th, we had 12 transactions that were approved. $380 was dispensed. We made $37 in surcharge fees. Remember, this is all income on this side. This surcharge is all income. That's the money that we made from each one of these days in particular. And then moving on to the 7th, we made 15 transactions that day. One other one, I'm assuming that one was a balance inquiry. We did have a lot of them that were denied that day. I can't really remember why. I think it was just incorrect pins or they had insufficient funds. So that'll be a few reasons why it was denied. But we had 15 that was approved. Again, dispensed only $420. We made $45 in surcharge that day. Now this day I remember we had a few that were weird. So my surcharge for this location is $3. But we had a few surcharges, we had a few transactions that actually charged $4. And I was kind of wondering why, but I found out that they were using credit cards. So people can still come up to your ATMs and use their credit card to get a cash advance on their credit card. That's a thing. So they don't have to only be using debit cards, but your ATM will automatically, if you use the processor like I do, I don't know if this works for every single processor, but I know through my processor, if somebody uses a credit card for a transaction instead of a debit card, it'll actually charge $1 more automatically. You don't have to set any setting. So instead of $3, it charged $4. So I made extra money without doing anything. So just keep that in mind. That was pretty cool. But moving on, so these 2 days right here, the 9th and the 10th, that's a weekend, that's a Saturday and Sunday. These guys are military, they're off Saturday and Sunday, so we got 0. So moving on till the last day, which is today, was the 11th. Now, we had a drop off today, not exactly sure why, but maybe people just didn't need cash. Not a big deal, they all can't be winners. We've had everything in the teens pretty much up until now, so not really complaining, but we only had 6 today, so 6 transactions. The one other one was a balance inquiry, so we had 6 approved today. $220 was dispensed, so that's not as great of a ratio as the other ones. We only had 6, and then we had $220 that was dispensed. I know somebody took out $100 and then somebody else took out like $40, but the rest were still 20s, so that's still pretty good. But we made $18 today in surcharge. Now all of these happened before noon my time, so they were all recognized by my processor as happening today. So all of that money including the money that was dispensed, and my surcharge will be deposited in my bank account tomorrow. So it'll be ready to go right then and there. So after doing all the math, adding up all the surcharge for the 7 days that we were operational, the grand total is $292. So for 7 days of our ATM being operational, the first 7 days, remember, not necessarily the first week because we were closed so much. We were closed for a week if you count all the days together, but for the first 7 days of it being operational, in this location, we made $292. Let's just round it up to 300 bucks. We made 300 bucks passively, and we've only been there, we have had to go there one time to fill it up. But remember, as I mentioned, most of these transactions, most of these guys are only taking out 20 bucks at a time. So we put $3 grand in there to start, so they drained it all the way down to like $600. In basically at $20 at a time. Some people did take out $100, some people took out $40, but by the vast majority, it was $20 at a time. So making 300 bucks on money that wasn't actually spent, pretty good for the first 7 days. So that could mean that we make $1,200 in a month. Probably make a little less than that, it might average out, but I think it's pretty realistic that this location will make $1,000 pretty regularly a month. For one location, that's pretty darn good. I know some people do that, some people don't. Some people don't even come anywhere near that. So this is a great location. Time will only tell, but we'll have to monitor it. As you saw today, it kind of was a drop off. But I don't think that's going to be a regular. I think it's going to regularly be a pretty good location. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. I know what you guys are interested in, and I know what I was interested in before I started the ATM business is what are the real numbers. So I'll definitely be doing a lot of these videos. Guys, please subscribe. I'm gonna be posting a lot of content. I've been posting 3 times a week consistently, and I'm gonna keep that up for at least a few months. So I'll be posting videos a lot. So subscribe so you don't miss it. Hit the like button, guys. I could really use that help. It'll motivate me a lot to just keep going with this. And until next time, God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.